Well, welcome to Cleveland, and we'll start things off. How are you enjoying your time here?
Oh, I'm loving it. They've been so accommodating, so welcoming, first-class organization, and obviously I've had some time with Donovan before here, but we have such a great group. Everybody gets along, and as I'll tell you from being in many places, that's not always the case in professional sports. So I'm super excited to be here, super excited to get it rolling tomorrow.
You guys have already kind of had training camps before the training camps. Like,
Yeah.
you see the workout videos and the photos that keep coming up. How much does that help you hit the ground running when it comes to approaching the regular season?
I think it's huge. I mean, you look at JB's teams every year. If you have to play one of JB Bickerstaff's teams early on, you're in for it because they're going to be prepared. That's for sure. He's gotten out to hot starts. I think the last couple of years as a head coach. So I think that's kind of the trick of the trade there, and but it's been great just getting to know everybody before you're actually like in the city. I think that's the coolest part because when you're in different cities doing training camps, you're staying in a hotel and you have each other, and I think that's the easiest way to get to know someone rather than being in the city that you're going to be in where everybody goes home, has families, has things to do. So you have each other, and it was really cool getting to know everybody. I think it was like 2-3 weeks, that we've done before we've actually got to Cleveland.
Yeah, I want to move a little bit to X's and O's because in your career, you've played with some amazing rim protectors.
Yeah,
you spent time.
I got a couple here.
Yeah, you spent
thankful for that.
You spent time with Rudy Gobert. You spent
Yep.
time with Joel Embiid. Now you're playing with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. And how does that affect the kind of choices you're making on the defensive end of the floor? Both, obviously, you have a safety net, but
Yeah.
what
Are you
does
trying
that
to
kind
say
of
I'm
provide?
bad on defense?
No, of course not.
No, I mean when you're playing alongside guys, like Evan and JA, where playing against them it's hard enough to score. Now that they're on my team, it's a luxury. You're allowed to press up on guys and kind of funnel them to the rim and be like, good luck, because those guys are elite. Defensive Player of the Year, conversation I think every year that they'll be playing in the NBA. But yeah, as a decision to come here, you just look at the young talent and the trajectory of this team, what it's done the last couple of years of where they're going, and I think the biggest thing is that, when you have two guys back there that can protect you, and I think me being self-aware and knowing myself, that's a huge deciding factor. And to play along guys that are that talented and that hungry and young, it means that there's going to be a lot of winning coming in the future.
We are pretty transparent typically. Like when we do our podcast, we like to admit what we don't know, and we like to bring on experts when we don't know what we're talking about. And when the Cavs made the addition, bringing you aboard.
Were you one of them that was like, oh, what are we doing?
Well, no, actually, Carter had you number 2 on his free agent list.
Carter.
There we go.
Number
Max
1 was Max
number 1.
Strus. Max was
Hey.
number 1. So
Are
we
you
got
the
them both,
GM
baby.
here? You and Kobe?
Yeah.
Text
Listen,
back and forth?
we don't like to publicize the relationship, George.
But we brought on Jackson Frank, who was on the beat, in Philly, and everyone that we talk to, says great fit on the court is really going to help, but a great guy and someone that's going to help off the court as well. How much of a point of pride is that for you, where you have that reputation as a guy that helps both on and off the court with teams?
Yeah, I think being a normal person is just, and realizing that, right? The best ability is kind of being self-aware on and off the court, right? And I like to be me. I have a big personality, and I think I show that day in and day out. But obviously being who I am on and off the court has gotten me this far, right? So why would I change anything? I've been lucky enough to play alongside some great players, and being excited to play along the great players that we have here was a huge deciding factor on, why I wanted to come here. Like I was just saying before, guys, I mean, obviously the way the season ended for the Cavs last year was, not the way they wanted it to. But I think the excitement that we have coming into this year of, what we have, what we've added, I couldn't be more excited for what's going to come and to actually get to practice in tomorrow and start working towards that.
You mentioned you do got a big personality. You like to talk a little bit, and I think
do.
when fans hear there's a guy who has a reputation as a shooter, they're not. The first thing they're thinking isn't a guy who gets into some verbal spats on the floor.
Yeah, right.
Like, what about that? Does that just kind of energize you? Does that kind of get you going? Is that something you kind of feel makes you a better and more engaged player on the floor?
Yeah, I think I'm playing off raw emotion. I'm not sitting in the locker room going over a script of what I'm going to say night in and night out. But I think the biggest thing for me is it's something. I'm an energy guy. I play with a ton of energy, passion, and that's something that gets me rolling, gets me excited, and I think it gets the team excited.
Cavs haven't had a lot of talkers. This has been we always joke they're a team of nice young men.
Oh, well, we're changing that. But no, Max is a gritty guy. Ty is a gritty guy. Those guys will give you some talking too. So I'm not going to be the only one this year, and hopefully we can drag it out of JA and Evan also.
You've been so consistent as a role player in the NBA.
Yeah.
What is something that you can share to some of your younger teammates about carving out that role and knowing your responsibilities on the court?
Yeah, you just got to be consistent or patiently relentless, right? And consistent with that. There's going to be days where you don't, feel the best, or there's a day in February where we're in Milwaukee or Detroit or, on a long road trip and you don't feel like, this is what you want to be doing. But being, relentless and consistent in your habits and what you do on a day-to-day basis, regardless of how you feel, can last you a long time in this league. So obviously for the young guys, there's some older guys ahead of them, but continue to be patient, continue to work relentlessly, and consistently show up every day and get the job done. And I think, JB has done a great job with these young guys, that are playing, building their habits. They have winning habits, and that's not something you see everywhere. And when I first got here, I'm like, wow, these guys really know what it takes or the habits that they need to win. And now it's just putting it all together and us winning a championship.
Has anyone surprised you in particular where you're like, oh, I didn't know this guy had it put together like that, or I didn't know this guy had this to his game?
Yeah, I was always impressed by DG and Evan. And obviously I played alongside Donovan, J.A., but definitely Evan Mobley. His ability to be able to score from so many different spots, his athleticism, his feel for the game, his ability to pass. I've been super impressed with that. And then just, even Karis LeVert, I feel like I know what he does, but the way he can just score, I'm just like, dang, I didn't know you had all that, So, those two for sure. I think DG, Don, JA, those guys speak for themselves. I've known Max for a long time, and but, all those guys are impressive.
Well, we're incredibly excited to have you aboard. Welcome to Cleveland, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.